Have you ever found yourself dreaming of the day that person who hurt you would feel the same pain they inflicted on you? Do you ardently wish for them to taste their own medicine, to experience the bitterness of rejection, the sting of disrespect you endured? If this flame of retribution burns in your chest, then I ask for your attention for the next few moments. Stay with me until the end, because true liberation may lie on a completely different path than the payback your mind now envisions. Prepare for a twist. What truly hurts, what truly strikes the soul of those who underestimated you, is the least expected thing. It's the most silent blow, the invisible impact that the ego can never absorb. The authentic revenge, the one that resonates deepest, makes no sound at all. The pain of feeling disrespected, ignored, or having your worth diminished is a visceral experience. It lodges in your pride, eroding self-esteem and tightening your heart with an almost physical agony. Amidst this whirlwind of emotions, the mind insists on an incessant question. Why did this happen to me? Why was I the target of such indifference or cruelty? It's a question that echoes in every fiber of our being, seeking logic, a reason for the imposed suffering. However, ancient philosophy, the wisdom of the Stoics, offers us a transformative perspective. It invites us to shift our gaze from what was done to us and instead focus on what we will do with what happened to us. The essence lies not in the other's action, but in our response to it. Faced with pain, we have a crossroads: to sink into lament, to immerse ourselves in bitterness and allow the wound to define us, or on the other hand, to transmute this pain into a powerful fuel, a driving force for our own transformation and growth. The desire for direct revenge, for reciprocating in kind, seems, at first glance, a cathartic solution. However, it's a subtle trap. Why does this path, so tempting, actually weaken us? Because it reveals that despite everything, we are still imprisoned by that situation, by that person. It exposes that the power to affect us still resides in the hands of those who hurt us, and that our own worth somehow seems to depend on a response, on external validation. It's as if, by seeking confrontation, we are begging for a reaction that validates our pain. But what if true strength lies in a non-reaction, in a calculated coldness that destabilizes the game? When we choose serenity, when we respond with silence, the dynamic reverses. It's an act of silent power that snatches control from the hands of those who hurt us and returns it to us. The psychological impact of this posture is overwhelming. The other, accustomed to expecting shouts, heated arguments, dramas, and despair, is met with a vacuum. What do they receive? Silence. And silence, this invisible weapon, resonates louder and more disturbingly than any angry word or accusation. It is a relentless mirror that reflects the other's indifference and autonomy. It echoes the clear message that you are no longer captive, that you have transcended the pettiness of that moment, that you have grown. The power to disappear, to leave questions unanswered, is a devastating blow to another's ego. The mind of the person who disrespected you, accustomed to predicting your reactions, enters a loop of restlessness. Why didn't she respond? Why didn't he retort? The absence of a formal response paradoxically becomes the most forceful answer. It generates far more restlessness than any carefully crafted phrase or irrefutable argument. The other's mind begins to fill the voids with theories, with insecurities, with the perception of their own error. Silence becomes fertile ground for self-analysis and belated regret. How, then, do you gain respect without uttering a single word? The answer is simple and lies in imposing boundaries through concrete actions. Disappearing, decisively cutting ties, changing the course of your life without explanations. These are acts of self-worth. You unequivocally demonstrate that you do not accept emotional crumbs, that your time and energy are too precious to be wasted on relationships that diminish you. And those who underestimated you, who believed they had control, begin to realize, often too late, how wrong they were. The pain you felt, the hurt that settled in, can be the transformative energy you need to reinvent yourself. It is not an invitation to revenge, but a stimulus for your own evolution. Those who hurt you do not deserve your ruin. They do not deserve to witness your continuous suffering. On the contrary, they deserve to see you shining, prospering, living a full life without them having the slightest access to your light. It is a strategic detachment, a liberation that manifests without fanfare. It is cutting the emotional bond without the need for drama, without waiting for a repentance that may never come, without demanding an apology. It is the deep understanding that not reacting is a conscious choice of one who holds control of the situation. This is practical wisdom in its purest form. The discipline of maintaining emotional control, even under attack, is a rare and powerful skill. When you refuse to respond in the heat of anger, when you take a deep breath and decide not to stoop to the level of provocation, you not only master the situation, but also send an unequivocal message. Nothing the other person says or does can throw you off balance. Your stability becomes an impenetrable shield, demonstrating that your inner peace is unshakable. Impressing without stooping, that's the real payback. Many fall into the trap of wanting to prove something, of seeking validation through a direct response. However, the deepest and most lasting impact comes when you simply move on with your life, better than ever, without even looking back. It's the silent prosperity, the genuine happiness that becomes the greatest punishment. This hurts more than any speech, more than any confrontation. Imagine the scene. Someone who ignored you, who doubted your potential, sees you winning, prospering, living well. There's no fanfare, no veiled social media posts, just your life flowing in an upward direction. The silence of your overcoming becomes a deafening scream in the subconscious of those who underestimated you. Your radiant happiness becomes a constant reminder of the mistake they made in losing you, in underestimating you. Indifference, in this context, is the ultimate punishment. You don't need to hurt, you don't need to stoop to the other person's level. You just need to move forward, build your own happiness and success. Absence, the lack of your presence and your angry reaction, is infinitely crueler than any confrontation. And when you become emotionally inaccessible, when your energy is no longer available to fuel the drama, the game changes completely. Those who wronged you feel the weight of their own choice, of the loss of your absence. You don't win an argument with arguments. You win by overcoming. It's not about winning a fight, but about achieving your peace, your tranquility. Those who hurt you don't deserve your hatred. They don't deserve the space that anger occupies in your heart. They do deserve the emptiness of your absence. This is stoicism in its purest form, not reacting, but overcoming. And now, with your journey of deconstruction and inner reconstruction begun, the question that remains is, are you ready to embrace the power of silence and the freedom of your own peace?